Welcome to the Story Tinker Podcast, a place for in-depth analysis of webtoon stories. Co-hosted by sharp, witty, and dare I say, thirsty fans, we dive deep into every episode, analyzing character struggles, relationship development, and of course, theories. You can follow the Story Tinker on YouTube, podcast platforms, and social media. For bonus content, sneak peeks, and more, you can support the Story Tinker on Patreon. We are really appreciative of your likes, subscribes, and follows on all platforms. Thank you for listening to the Story Tinker, and let's get started.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 52 of the Purple Hyacinth on the Story Tinker. And today we have Firedancer.
Hello.
And this is actually the first episode that we're recording again after we took like a long summer break. So I've been publishing the ones that we recorded before the summer, but this is the first Purple Hyacinth episode I've recorded since the hiatus. So it's a couple of months. So I feel a little rusty, but I'm sure we'll get right back into the swing of it. So we open up in the locker room or bathroom. I think it's the locker room at the precinct. And as a reminder, this is, season 2 opening, and Kieran just shows up. He had Lauren just like yelled at him for like, what the heck are you doing here, etc. And Kieran's in the locker room. Already the beginning scene, he kind of looks devastated.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing there all alone. We know that he had a very, very dramatic encounter with Lauren.
I feel like he's just like in this shot right here. I feel like he's just standing there questioning his life choices.
I don't even know how many of them were choices, right? Like,
Wait.
questioning his everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As much as he tries to pretend that he's flippant and nothing gets to him, I think that it was clear from that fight he was broken up by it to some extent, because and both the combination of just seeing what his actions had wrought, like how the fact that he lost control and like what he did to Lauren just like totally cracked her trust, whatever little trust there was between them, and how he destroyed like the only small good thing he had in his life.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like it didn't just destroy her trust in him. I feel like it kind of destroyed his trust in himself a little bit, at least when it comes to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, right, because the other things that he does, right, he could always justify to himself, I'm forced to do them, right? If I don't do them, I'll be killed or whatever. But what he did with Lauren was totally just him losing his temper, him losing control. It was not forced. It was his sort of choice, although it's hard to say how much of it was a choice, because at some point you snap and like you kind of become out of control. So but, most people try to work on themselves so that they don't snap.
True.
Anyway, but obviously Kieran, this is difficult. Anyway, we're not on episode 43, so let's not discuss that too much. But so Lauren opens the door and stands there. Already her posture is just, she is mad, angry, defensive.
Extremely guarded.
Right. Crossing her arms, not open at all. And she glares at him and says, we need to talk. But of course, Kieran.
He can't resist, even when he knows he messed up.
I know. It's like he's just digging his old deeper.
I'm just like, bro, you're not helping your case here. Like, you know you messed up. She knows you messed up. Why you? I don't know.
Turns to her and is like, missed me so soon. It hasn't even been a day.
And I'm just like, sir, it has been less than 24 hours since you tried to murder this woman. Jesus. I keep forgetting it's only been like 24 hours or less. And I'm like, no wonder she's so traumatized. Jeez.
Yeah. It's a lot. Oh gosh. And she's like, do not test my patience, Kieran. So she is not putting up with him. Like previously, like with his banter, she would often respond with her own jokes, but that is not happening now.
She has no tolerance for anything of his anymore.
Yep, as she should. And now he just gets serious. He's like, what is it? Not here, follow me. And then we have a view of the outside of the police station, and they're walking out, and who should see them but Will peering out from a window.
Mm-hmm. And that may come back to bite her later.
Ooh, yes. Being seen together on their very first date. Is Lauren being friendly and taking him out for coffee? Oh, hi, welcome, new person. Or is there something more? You see, Will is not a busybody, but if it was Kim, you know how she would just like.
Oh yeah. No, she'd be at the window just like, where are they going? Where are they going?
She would just follow them. And,
Oh
like,
no,
spy
she
on
would
them.
just like, I sense a stakeout mission.
Exactly. So luckily it was just Will who has an understanding of personal boundaries.
Yeah.
So anyway, they are walking along the street. Lauren is leading. Kieran is just following, and he's quiet. Like that is his sense of, I think, shame, where he did stop cracking jokes for like 5 seconds. And so it's interesting because he looks at her and he has like this worried look in his eyes, like a concerned look. And then he looks away and he furrows his brows. And then he says, are you dragging me to some dark alley so you can finish me without getting rid of witnesses? While he's taking off his glasses. What do you think of his expressions, like leading into that?
I feel like obviously he's very concerned. Like, I'm not sure if he's necessarily concerned for his life so much as I feel like he's concerned for her. And I don't know, I feel like he may be concerned a little bit like to how she's doing and like her mental state. And he's kind of worried about her.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And I think maybe he just tried to make this comment where maybe break the silence a little bit just to see what's happening here. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think for me also, like the fact that I don't know, and this is just my reading it into this, but I feel like he kind of accepts that, like, if Lauren does want to kill him, he's like, okay, my life sucks anyway. Like, I really have nothing to live for except for his, wanting to get back at the leader, which, now that like his liaison with Lauren is like, not really on anymore. I don't know if he really thinks that's going to happen. Like, I feel like he would accept, like, he wouldn't resist her killing him. He'd be like, okay,
yeah,
I deserve it.
Yeah, that's about right.
Which is very sad. Like he's asking her, but he's not like gonna run away.
Not really. Like, oh, the next panel, she just turns at murder in her eyes. She has murder in her eyes.
Right. But I think she's also super mad that he even said that, because she's like, she doesn't think of herself as a killer. She's like, you're the killer. You're the bad guy. I'm above all that. You're the one who just murdered everyone, and you're accusing me of going to like potentially murdering you.
Yeah.
I was very offended.
Yeah. Taking the moral high ground. Rightfully so, but Yeah,
and she grabs his arm and then pushes him away. Which is funny. She like pulls him and then pushes him. So I'm not sure how necessary that was on a practical standpoint, but I think emotionally
it was cathartic.
Yes. And she pushes him into the alleyway. Okay, I see. Never mind. So I guess it was practical. She pulls him in the alley and then pushes him further in. And she says, not that I lack the desire, but no, not yet. And you could just feel the anger dripping off of her.
Oh.
Her body expressions are so well done.
Yeah, the body language just, it reeks. It reeks of like thinly veiled rage.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he says, pray tell. And you kind of see like he sets his jaw. He has a little mark in his jaw. And I think he is bracing himself to hear what she's going to say, because it does affect him emotionally. And Laura notices that. She thinks to herself that he's tense. It's hard. I feel a lot of compassion obviously for Lauren, but like for Kieran.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel sympathy for him a little bit, but at the same time, I'm just like, you deserve this, and you know it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good. It's good for him to be redressed. But I mean, he's actually not going to be redressed now. Lauren already did that. Now she's being practical. She says, we need to talk about your mission, the second half of it. I'm sure you can understand why talking about Lune in the station isn't the brightest idea. And he says, agreed, and shrugs. I want to know exactly what you've been asked to do and how you intend to do it. And he just shrugs and picks up his hands. Just what I told you this morning. I'm supposed to find and kill Lune. Usually when I receive such missions, the leader expects evidence and bodies. Dun, dun.
The dilemma.
And, yeah. And Lauren, like, kind of, you know, not even looking at him, which is unsurprising because he doesn't want to face him.
Also, it's an uncomfortable topic where it's just like, oh, so we grave Robin now. Okay.
Yeah. But at least, you know, this conversation shows that she knows he's not actually going to kill her.
Yeah.
And himself, like, somehow, whatever, you know, like, so she said that last time because of bitterness, but now, like, when she calmed down a little bit, she is able to be practical and, like, you know, it is nice to know that he won't actually kill her.
Yeah.
He recognizes that he has enough integrity or of a relationship with her to not do that.
Yeah. Or at the very least, she still knows she's very useful to him, so he wouldn't go as far as killing her.
True. Yeah. So she says, so Lune suddenly disappearing and never to be seen again is obviously not enough. Why you? It makes sense to send you after Lune once they've been identified. But why plant you as a mole? And then he responds, I'm sure I'm not the only one with these orders. Lune has suspected connection to your precinct. Harvey had to be replaced and I was available. Not my first infiltration mission. Never had to track myself down before, though. There's a cute expression there, like that one eyebrow.
Oh, yeah.
I practiced doing that one eyebrow thing and I never really got it. Oh, nice. Wow, you did it. Good job. Cool. Very cool.
Hey.
So Lauren shakes her head, sighs. She says, so we have to find a way to fake Lune's death. And Kieran at this point starts grinning and crossing his arms. And he's like, are you going to help me, officer? And I see that as like a return of hope that she's going to come back in his life. And like, he hasn't completely blown this relationship.
Yeah. Just the sliver of hope that she's immediately about to dash.
Yeah, she's like, Herman is also hunting for Lune. The sooner we can pin this on someone else, the better. And he smiles, though. This is fair. And then she says, you mentioned bodies. And with like a grim set to her mouth, she says, unidentified corpses are always turning up in the poorer districts. People no one's looking for. And obviously that is a sad fact of, you know, people care less about poor people. So
it's a depressing reality.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Kieran says, I suppose that would save me some work. And she looks at him again. I think that extra look she's giving him is because she's probably thinking about when he says he doesn't kill unless he has to. So I think this is a little bit of her saying, you know, I wouldn't say she's thawing, but I would say she would probably think about this later in thinking about Kieran and kind of like starting to relent.
Yeah. I think of that as like these games, telltale games. They're a choice-based game. And so if you make a choice, they'll just like, so-and-so will remember this. And I'm just like, Lauren will remember this.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's cool. And Kieran says it could be a start, but producing convincing evidence is the real problem here. And Lauren says, do you know anyone outside the Phantom site who can forge identities? And he says, maybe. Haven't seen him in a while. You guys might have locked him up by now. I'll see if I can reach him. Now, what do you think of this?
I want to know who this friend is. I want to know. Because like, when I first read this, I'm just like, he has friends?
Right? Wait, did he call him a friend? Let's see.
Yeah.
No, he said,
oh, a guy.
He doesn't even say friend. He just knows them. What?
No, he doesn't even call it a friend. I'm pretty sure Lauren calls him I don't know. I'm just like,
We probably imagined it because we're so desperate for him to have like, you know, friendship in his life.
probably. This poor guy.
Oh dear. Yeah, so as of now, which is like episode 105, this person has not come up again yet directly.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he'll come up again.
Yeah. I think he was mentioned at some point, like towards the end of the season. I think he was mentioned, but we never, like, he has not been seen.
Yes, and obviously who knows, but once we meet him, like, who knows who he is? Maybe he's someone we know, maybe he's someone we heard of but never saw before, besides for this Lauren's family, his family, who knows?
Oh, something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Soph and F, everything is a giant spider web. All goes together.
No, I swear, if it's like just like out of the blue, Kieran goes like, "Hi, Uncle," and it's like, "Oh hell no." I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Lauren just says good, and she sweeps right past him, and I already see like Kieran just looks very sad in that picture where she's sweeping past him, you know, because she's going to leave him, right? And obviously there's a lot of unresolved emotion between them. And I think Kieran's like sad that she's leaving. Not, I don't think he intellectually expects them to like make peace right now, but I think he just feels bad.
Yeah. And then also like the panel where he says like, "Lauren, wait." It looked like you can see like kind of like the wind blowing as she goes past him, and I'm just like, it feels so cold. This feels so cold in more ways than one.
Exactly.
Because like the way she approaches him now compared to before is extremely to the point, cold. Like there's no give there. And then even when she was like talking about like trying to fake Lune's death and stuff, it's very factual, avoiding emotion. Which
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like, "Lauren, wait," and he's like, "What?" She's like, "What?" She doesn't even turn around to hear him, which is again just snubbing him out. Yeah.
Every single time, another blow to the chest.
Yeah. And he turns around and asks her, "Why were you late this morning?" So he's the one making an overture to her in like both his words and his body language, like he's turning to face her. And it's concern. No, he does want to know what happened to her.
Yeah.
And Lauren pauses and says, "Oh, the face she gives him." She looks over her shoulder.
She is serving face.
Yeah. "Oh, nothing I do is your business." Oh,
damn. I want to be like, I want to be hurt, but at the same time, I'm like, dang, that was a good line. That was a good line.
Yep. Soph and F do a great job of like not just letting things slide back. Like there are other webtoons where some of the characters act very questionably in relationships. I don't like to talk about it because I don't like to, I'm not going to like say which ones because I feel like it's rude to disrespect like other people's work. But there's definitely a lot of webtoons, a fair number of webtoons that I read where like one of the people in the relationship is behaving very like borderline abusively, if not downright abusively. And then people are like, "It's so romantic." Like, it's not romantic.
No, it is not.
and you know what Kieran did to Lauren like is never erased. It's never forgotten. It's huge and it comes up again and again and again. And like it's very whatever. I mean, obviously, like we're here. I don't want to like be too future oriented, but it's not glossed over at all. And I think that's so important.
Yeah, I get you because I've also read a few comics where it's something will happen and then they'll call out the behavior and then it's immediately forgiven like an episode later and it's like it never happened. And I'm like, so what was the purpose of this again? It can be a bit concerning when that happens. And then it's very, very slow to give, and that's what I like about it because it's more realistic.
Yep. And she storms off. Kieran is left watching her alone. Sorry, I thought my phone was off. Let me turn it off now. So now we switch things and we are somewhere else. We're actually in the Grim Goblin. And, the color tone changes. It's warm browns. And Belladonna walks in, looking smoldering as usual.
Hey.
And she goes to the back, right, where we see like Kieran has met with people before as well, and walks past some boxes, stands by the door and opens the door. And there is Messenger VII, and with the plague doctor mask. And she says, Belladonna Davenport. And she says, good evening, messenger. And the messenger says, what was so urgent that it couldn't wait 3 days? And Belladonna says, I didn't want the other merry criminals to overhear. Our dear apostle asked me to keep an eye on the whole band. And one of them will soon become problematic, I believe. And it says, who? Tim Sake, the associate that just got back from overseas yesterday. He's the one that had an altercation with the police a year ago. Some sloppy murder, but he was the last person to see the victim alive. Obviously, she's like insulting him already. Sloppy murder.
Already.
Right.
To be fair, he was not subtle about it at all.
Well, he tried. We know he tried.
An attempt was made.
Yeah. And yes, the apostle is aware of the incident. And Belladonna continues, well, since he's been overseas for the past year, none of us really know the guy. So I decided to follow him, which she takes action. She is proactive. I'm just laughing because like in work, like in work environments, being proactive, self-starters, like very sought after. So I'm like, Belladonna, put that on your resume, proactive.
Yes. No, say what you want.
Mm-hmm.
She ate lazy.
Yeah. So I decided to follow him, see if he could actually be trusted. And it took less than 24 hours in Narcotics for the detective in charge of the murder case to corner him.
Poor Timmy.
He deserves it.
Poor Timmy.
And the messenger asks, he a mole? And she's like, no, just stunningly incompetent. I love it. It's the best insult ever.
I know.
But our lovely Timmy really doesn't know when to shut up. We had a wholesome little chat during which he basically admitted his involvement with the Allendale train station bombing, which she realizes like that's sloppy of him to do.
Yeah.
Which apparently she already suspected, right? So she's, and I totally agree. There was this like thing passing around. It was like this joke thing where it made fun of how in movies the bad guy always like reveals his plans. Let's say the good guy's tied up and he's like, I am about to do this, and he just tells him all the details, and then the good guy gets out and like he just knows exactly what's happening. And like that's exactly what he did. Like, why are you admitting it? Like, just don't tell her.
Honestly, I'm like, dude, no, because the problem with Tim's Sake is he has to gloat. He has to feed his ego. And so he will just lay out his entire plan. And it's just like, and he's just like, and there's nothing you can do about it. Dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is why he is stunningly incompetent.
Exactly. Yep. And the messenger says, "Do you get her name?" Timmy called her Sinclair. And the messenger says, "I see. This might indeed become problematic." So he knows who the Sinclairs are.
Yeah, I mean, they are pretty well known in the city. So
is it that? Like, is it because she's well known? Or is it because of the Sinclair's connection to the Phantom Scythe?
I mean, it could be either. It could be either. But like,
they haven't had any problem executing important people, so I don't think it's the regular old important. In fact, they're against that, right?
Yeah.
But I think it must signal some Phantom Scythe involvement of a similar person.
No, I feel like they're just like, oh yeah, that's right, they still exist. That's not good. I don't know. Yeah, no, and now they're aware that she's causing problems, which is not really good for her.
I know. Like, don't stand out. Don't do it.
Please stop doing it, Lauren. Please. I say Tim isn't subtle. Lauren is like literally one level subtler.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, she is too hot-headed to think sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, Bella's like looking at her fingernails. She's like, I'm almost jealous. It's always the purple hyacinth who gets the fancy jobs. If Apostle VII really wanted the other morons dead, I would have been more than happy to comply. Killing them in the tower. He said they were locked up in the tower. No offense, but you're no match for the purple hyacinth.
Dang.
And then she looks up. That remains to be seen.
Oh, no, just the glare of, you dare insult me.
Exactly.
Like, oh. Because, like, I'm not going to say that she's as good as Kieran, but I'm going to just say I would not want to get on her bad side because she could murder you and get away with it.
Exactly. Yep. And the messenger says, thank you for your report. Well, you know what comes next. Have some fun. Yikes.
Oh.
That's not good. If someone tells Bella to have fun. Mm-mm.
Oh no, she will have a field day. Give her an inch, she'll take a mile.
Yeah. Basically, goodbye, Tim's sake.
Goodbye, Timmy. It was nice knowing you.
No, it actually wasn't, but it's okay.
It wasn't. You were an ass. I'm like, I swear, I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'm like, you know what? I usually don't condone murder, but this one, you go, Bella. You go, please. He's dumb.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. He deserves that. We know he murdered at least Gavin Chow, and who knows what else he's done. So besides for the train thing.
Yeah, blown up. At least killed like over 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
yeah.
Well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, any final thoughts on this episode?
Just final thoughts. The first half, I felt the chill in the air. I felt the chill. I don't know. It's a punch to the gut, but it's good to see. It's good to see because I don't know. It's like you can have sympathy for someone, but you can also be like, you deserve it. Mm-hmm. I can't help you. You dug your own grave.
Yeah, exactly. And and it's realistic. I love it. I mean, we don't even know, like, we always debate this with like, are Lauren and Kieran end up romantic? But put that aside, any relationship has its ups and downs. Yeah. And, there are so many like stories where it just gets up to the falling in love part and it doesn't show any difficulties. Mm-hmm. And Lauren and Kieran, like, they haven't gotten to the falling in love part. I don't know if they ever will, but they definitely, they have some kind of relationship. And like the trouble is first, like they have the bad parts first.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it as a good thing. It's like you get all the bad stuff out of the way, and then it's smooth sailing from there on. Not smooth sailing because it never is, but
right,
like
But the worst issues are out on the front, like them already. Yeah,
where it's just like if they stick with you through this, you're set for life.
Right. So. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining. And I'm so happy we're getting back to the swing of things. So I'm sure I'll see you again soon.
Yes. I see you soon. Thank you for having me.
All right. You have a good night.
All right. Bye. You too. Bye.
Thank you so much to my current patrons: Susie, Lady Libris, Lily, Jenny, Haley, Maria, Molly, Veronica, Emily, Joe, Rochelle, Saucy Tuggles, Meg, and Rose, Priya, Alexa, Misty, Laura, Joanne, Patty, Jen, Emilda, Esther, I'm Watching You, Taurus, Poppy Seed, Marie, Jen, Emily, Jean, Jen, Erin, D, Kate, Lily, Beckett, and Duranda. Your support is truly appreciated.